Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sorry. My name is Jackie Chandiru. Chandiru meaning I'm from northern Uganda, West Nile. So when I greet you, kindly greet me back the way a West Nile and a northerner should greet back. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Very good, eh? Excellent. Thank you, members. So, where do I start? Singing? No. That's not what has brought me here today. That's part of the package, maybe. But that aside, ladies and gentlemen, first I would like to request for one thing from you. Loosen up. I know you're prefects. I know there's an image you're supposed to put out there, but loosen up. I'm trying to talk to you, but you seem to be so closed. Loosen up. Muli bulungi. Muli bulungi. Actually, there's a few people here who are speaking, the others are not. Muli bulungi. At the back, don't worry. Ain't nobody gonna call you and ask you why you are speaking back to somebody who is speaking. Are you guys okay? Because I need to understand that, to know that we're on the same page. Tuli bulungi? Okay, so, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Jackie Chandiru. My polynym is the Queen of the Nile. I chose that name, that polynym, for one reason. Because when it comes to West Nile, when it comes to culture, I don't suppose there's any artist who has crossed over to the modern world that loves her culture more than I do. So, is it okay for me to come down there? It's okay? Excellent. So as I was saying, I happen to be from West Nile. There's so many things that I would want to speak about today, but I don't think I have the time to do that. I've got only 5 minutes, according to... But let me try my best. So I'm supposed to speak about drugs and music or the entertainment industry. But I don't want to tackle so much on that. That is just one of the sectors, for example, where addiction or drugs come into. Ladies and gentlemen, when it comes to use of drugs, when it comes to addiction, it can go to any single part that it is. I will tell you one thing. Before I started what it is that I was doing, I was in a school. It happened to be a school for extremely rich people, a primary school. But guess what? Everybody who was there was of a specific tribe. I was among the few people who were there, because my nose was so big when I was young and my ears were like this. I was the one that was the what? The outcast. I was the northerner. So every break time, these children came and surrounded me, and they made me feel what? Small. Because they kept saying, mulugwara gwe. Okolachi wano. So those are small things, for example, that can happen to a child, which you take to be something very small, that just pass by. Now you are student leaders here today as we speak. You are the people that can be able to stop things like this. I have never forgotten that. That's why one of my biggest songs in this country is a song which I did in my language, Agassi. You know why I sang in Lugbara? I sang in Lugbara because I wanted people to understand that it doesn't have to be something negative that comes from that area. There can be something good. Something good being somebody who can sing, somebody who can make it into finals in a country where they don't expect a northerner to go through and can stand up what? Strong. I did that song in Lugbara. And that's because I had a point to prove. Ngawe mchimanyi, is it okay for me to speak in Luganda? Ngawe mchimanyi, Swaziniga mmanyi, Sylvester Stallone mmanyi, statafa, mufirimu ye. Era nalayida, sirifa muchi, mufirimu yange. Fast forward, ladies and gentlemen. Now, whatever it is that happened to me in school, happened. Like I told you, your student leaders, these are things you can stop. Don't think because you have those badges, it's supposed to stop there. Your job is not about making sure people wake up on time not about making sure that people go to class on time, prep time is done, don't do anything wrong. No. You have got to groom people. Mwe abalina okutereeza abantu. Temugenda kutuula butuuzi nga mulina just privileges ze mulina. Kubanga mwambadde different uniforms, mulina ties and badges. It doesn't stop there. When you're in charge of something, you have got to go to the depth of everything. And while you're doing that, please make sure everyone who is below you, atali prefect, mufule mukwano gwo. I'm coming to that later on in what it is that I'm saying. I'm going to talk to you about. Make every single person in the school your friend. You don't have to walk with those suits, those coats of yours, and you think the world has come to an end. Nedda. Nabambadde masuuti babasiba. Oba bakola ki? Bakola ensobi. So you've got to make every single person in your school your friend. Why? Because if they are going through something, for example, that I went through, they will come and say, Omanyi, muba prefect bonna bemmanyi wa mess. The dining prefect, yeah, he's good to go. I can talk to that person. You get what I'm saying? Please. These things are not stopping just here. So whatever it is that you do, you have got seats. You have got platforms of authority. Make sure, Bambi, make sure you don't forget the people who are below you, because just whatever you guys are hard. You can go and stand and campaign for something. Whatever so be their friends. Fast forward, ladies and gentlemen. I left school. I did school. I was in Nakasero Primary School. Then I went to Nabisunsa Girls School for my O-level. For my A-level, I went to Vienna College Namugongo International School. Then I went to Makerere University. Kati nobody should wake up in the morning and tell you nti lwakuba ali muyimbi, lwakuba ali mu entertainment industry, teyetaaga kukola ki? Kusoma. Don't worry, you can speak. Nobody is going to arrest you. You can speak. Nobody should make you think that just because you're in the entertainment industry, you didn't go to school. I know a handful of musicians, people in the entertainment industry. There is somebody, for example, His Excellency Bobby Wine. He has a degree in MDD. But the thing is, he went to school. So he did not do what? He didn't forget school. Much as he had success in the music industry, much as to a big extent, there could not be much that he's doing in that line of MDD. It helped him in the start when he was doing his music career. It did that. I majored in oil painting. Right now where I am, I can design a logo for you. I did industrial fine art. I can design a logo for you. I can make an advert for you. I can write a script for you. It's not just about my voice, my dear. It's not about my voice. Because sigenda kufiira mu ndongo. Okitegeera? Sigenda kufiira mu ndongo. Mukama just yanyamba nti eno gift bwe yagimpa nafunayo ka pass bwe bati. Nensobola okukola ki? Kuyimba. Ate we nayimba. Ate nenkwatirayo. Mukitegeera? I went through. So that is my story. That is my part. When it comes to education and when it comes to what it is that I do now. We move fast forward. I get into the music business. Natandikira wa? Blue 3. Does anyone know Blue 3? No. Chichi, what's the problem? I want some energy. If you're prefects, I want some energy. You know, does anybody know Blue 3? Does anybody know Lillian Mbabazi? The Queen of Soul? Does anybody know, well, Jackie Chandiru is here. Does anybody know, hey, the king herself? Yes? Yes. Now that is where I started, from Blue 3, as a group. And guess what? The group was doing good. Ngekola bulungi nnyo nga tutambula here, there. There's people who I met in this entire earth. Nga tosobola nakikiriza nti omwana ava Maracha, Kijomoro, anti gyenveeri engulu. Nti asobola nakusisinkana Patoran King. I was meeting people, Wizkid, Nameless, people who are the big names in the entertainment industry. That was my gift from God. Because the voice, eddoboozi nga lyo nnina. Kati ng'ekirabo Mukama kye yampa. Yandaga nti ki? I have the route. This is your way. Tambulira mu kkubo eno. But guess what? When it comes to something, a dream that you want to achieve, yeah? I don't want you to ever think that you will achieve anything easily. My road to success was quite smooth in the start, but the problems came when I got there. Remember, you've moved from a girl who, my pocket money at that time was, when I was in the international school, it was 100,000, so that was a lot of money. We didn't have any grab in school, but before, it was 30,000 shillings. So now I'm moving to doing a job where just one gig, me appearing for 20 minutes, yeah, when they split the money, expenses and everything, I have about 500,000 Uganda shillings. At that time, I'm talking about 20 years ago. If you can speak to any of the people here, 500,000 shillings 20 years ago, nga toyina kyongamba nze nganze. I was at that time the president, toyina kyongamba. That was a lot of money. You move from 30,000 to 500,000 per appearance. That was money. And there's so many things that came with that. There's pressures that came. The thing that I'm happy about today is the fact that there's people that are able to get people like us to speak to you about these things nga bukyali. Nga temunakola ki? Nga temunakuyingi. No, kati wano muli fine. They pay fees for you. You have grab. You've got pocket money. But when you go out there, it's something different. I'm telling you the truth. There were times I was in school and I kept telling myself, I can't wait to have my own house. For me, it was about having my own house. What? I'm earning 500,000 per gig. In a month, I have what? 2 million. 20 years ago. So a house is going to cost me what? Per month? Maybe 100,000 or so. I had the money and I just wanted the independence. Nenga chesimanyi nti I have to pay water bills. Nino kusasula eza salon because I have to look good. Nino kusasula masanyalaze. Then I have to pay maintenance. I have to pay for garbage. Ebyo nga sibyendiko. Nganze just ndi ku mutwalo 10 ezo. That's 100,000 only from 2 million shillings. So you guys are very lucky that you've got people like us right now that can come here and talk to you about certain things in advance. And the fact that you are in places of authority, you can't tell everyone who is below you. So this happens to me, ladies and gentlemen. The next thing, ngwako mulavu awo, mana ye love. Jirabe duka. Love chi? Jirabe duka. You see, much as you are prefects, it doesn't stop you from being what? Human beings. That means you have feelings. You get sick, mufunako kumusujja, and you have all sorts of issues. Yadde mwina bubajo obwo nimbye. Munansonyo, me, I'll speak to you very different from every other speaker here. I'll speak to you like we're age mates. So that is the thing when it comes to you. So that thing happened to me. I didn't know how to handle that. Jukira, mvudde muso, I'm just from school. I'm going straight into being a star. I'm going straight into seeing my picture on billboards in Kampala. Mvano kijomoro maracha. Eri mucharo. So my face is everywhere. So these people are coming to me. They're telling me all sorts of nice things. Nga wobi manyi, bachala banange, should I say. Ladies, these things, they lie to us all the time. Kati, it's very possible you may decide to be as tight as possible because you're prefect, but you also have feelings. Yes? You have feelings. And also the gentlemen who are here, I'm sure you lie to people. So a combination of things, because I'm trying to cut this really short, a combination of things, yeah? I kind of got messed up. At that time, something happened to me. I had an attack, a very violent attack. At your time, I injured myself. But much as I injured myself, I need you guys to listen to this very carefully. Much as nafuna ekizibu, yeah? Nalina ebintu before. I'm going to merge this whole thing together. Because of the work it is that I was doing, nali sebaka. I barely had sleep. If I was going to sleep, I would sleep for, say, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Yeah? That was my life. I sleep for 20, 30 minutes, and then I know the following day, Nina show. Show Nina is for this company. Chenjagala chintu, chipia. By the way, even if you go to YouTube, even if you go anywhere, Erinya Jackie Chandiru, literally the best female performer in Uganda. Babi obugalo for that one.
Don't be mean.
That was it. So every single time I had the chance, abantu bagamba genda webake. Nze nga sisobola kwebaka. Bwe mbanga nebaze mba ndi mu kuloota. Nti kati oluyimba lwange Agassi ngenda kukola ntya. Eno part nkoze ntya. Remix ngenda gikola ntya. That was me. That's as much as I was dedicated to my work. Ng'emirimu gyange ngikola. Ne bwe mbanga abantu bo beebase. Nga boogera bagamba nti bano bakola kiro. Nze mba nkola ki? I did what it is that I did. Then when I got that small injury, ladies and gentlemen, it was a back problem I had, and then I was given an option of a painkiller, Jebaita Pethadine. There's medical personnel who are here. Paul, you can explain.
Pethadine is a painkiller that is used in people with acute pain. Have you had people who are struggling with cancer? People have gotten so serious accidents and they have very, very severe pains. So it's a painkiller that people use to numb the pain. But as she says, it's highly addictive. You know? So is that clear? Good.
So one of the side effects with pethadine, kastavaji kukuba, the pain goes away, yes. Nayo tulo, jukira I don't sleep. Kati ebyo nebikola ki nebikwatirayo. I'll be very honest with you, nebikwatirayo. Then I was meant to have a surgery. Naye ne bangamba ogira otandikira wano ku pethadine. Ate ne nfuna ki loco. Okitegeera. That's where I come to one thing. In everything it is that you do, the moment you ignore God, Allah, you will never overcome or be successful in anything. With whatever it is that happened. Nga nkimanyi ekintu kye ndi mu kukola natuuka point nga ndi mu kufuna eddagala eryo nga ndyekuba. I wear scars on my body. You see these? These are scars. I wear scars on my body. Nga ntuuse point nga just kye njagala kyenfa okuteeka eryo ddagala mu ki? Mu mubiri gwange. Kati awo jjukira nvudde ku kya pain kati ndi mu kulwanisa ki? The fact nti sisobola kwebaka, I can't sleep. This drug gives me sleep. Then eventually I stopped wanting to work. That's why in the end, when it comes to drug use, addiction, it is something very, very spiritual. Kati abalala mu music industry, for example, entertainment industry, if they choose to use drugs, if they choose to have anything in their system, boba ayinza kubanga boba bakyagala nti kye kibayamba. But I personally believe when you have the passion for anything it is that you love, if you're a person that loves IT, kasitobango ina passion eya laptop eyo wa computer, keyboard eyo, you can research on anything it is that you want and you will get it without having to take what? Anything. Nimbye? I can submit you're not sleeping. Are we together? The moment you have a passion for everything, Mukama yanyamba. Because in the end, within that time when I was struggling, I looked for God. I looked for Allah. I looked for Him. And when I looked for Him, you know what He did for me? Yandekanechi, nobulamu bwange. And on top of that, nandekanechi, nedobozi.
Wow, that's so beautiful. We thank God for that.
So, for whatever it is, once your heart is pure, this struggle when it comes to drug abuse, when it comes to, there's so many things that can happen. Sometimes oyinza okukola byokola nga tuli mu entertainment industry. No fuluma no tuka wali, ngono nye milimu, you can't find work. naye n'osanga omuntu atasomanga nako najja n'akuyitako, it can take you to depression. People commit suicide. If you've been reading the news, there's people there's somebody who fell from Sky's Hotel. He has a room. Very expensive, about $200 something. He went from up there, nagwa wansi. Nagamba nti obulamu mbukoye, sikyasobola kola ki kulwana. So don't think you guys are lucky you're in school, you've got people, you have us to come and talk to you. We shall do our best because in the nature I don't have time to tell you what I went through, but I'm here to tell you that if it happened to me, it can happen to you. The Let File Bonga Lutaya sang, today it's me, tomorrow is somebody else. So please don't ever forget that. And in whatever you do, mbasaba, do not forget the Almighty, because with God, with Allah, everything is possible. I don't know if you have any questions.
Yes, this is a time that people really want to have questions. Jackie, I would request you go to the podium. I want to use the 2 mics, and I want to maximize this time. When you're asking a question, be precise. I'm going to begin with the gentleman with the black tie. Just be very, very precise.
Are these drugs that people smoke and the drugs that they just inject in your body, do they have the same effect or the effects differ? That's my question.
Next question. Jackie, hope you're noting them down. Next question. I want to use this side so much.
My question is, Madam, how did you know that you are really addicted to that drug? Because they say people who are addicted to drugs don't feel that they are really addicted. Thank you.
My question is, we've been hearing the disadvantages, the bad sides of the drugs, but that only happens when the drugs have been abused, yes? But for me, I want somebody to explain to me, is there any good thing about the drugs when they are not abused?
Thank you very much. Jacob Benjamin.
Jackie, have you been able to capture all that? Yeah. Or I give you a second to breathe?
I'm writing this down.
Okay, please go ahead.
Madam, I'd like to ask, did you ever feel overconsumed by these drugs that they are more important than yourself?
Mm-hmm.
Good afternoon. Madam, I would like to ask you, how did you balance basically the singing and your education?
Okay.
Thank you. Can Jackie first respond to those? Okay, give that last question, then Jackie responds to that, then we can go ahead.
Chairman David Naloy, Centenary School at Chandiru. Madam, I kindly want you to enlighten us on your period in rehab.
We did not go to your question.
I'm kindly requesting Madam to elaborate about her time in rehab.
Okay.
Hope you got it, Jackie.
Can I take this first?
Please, take that.
Okay. The one that I'm very interested in is the lady. She spoke about, she asked how, doesn't people get to realize that the drugs are an issue when they're overconsumed. So I mentioned something here. Everything about addiction and drug abuse is spiritual. So it's a combination of something medical and it's a combination of something spiritual. You guys are growing up, and for us who have been growing up, there's always been that part where they were telling us until you hear 2 voices. There's one which tells you don't do it, right? I'm sure you've gone through that. Bambi, can we wake up, please? Or do you want to go and do some PE? So there are 2 voices. There's that one that says, do it. There's the one that says, don't do it. But the one that is trying to stop you from doing something is the one, that's the small one. But the one which tells you to do something and instead keeps telling you about the advantages of what it is that you are doing is the one that is louder. Ladies and gentlemen, there is no action, even in physics it's there. No action has no consequence. Everything it is that you do, Wake up in the morning today and you can decide to punish someone and tell the person kneel for 30 minutes. Guess what? Karma can decide to come back. The time you're looking for a job, it's the person you told to kneel. For what? For 30 minutes. So there's no action on this earth that doesn't have a consequence. I'm not going to tell you what you're saying is a point. When artists, for example, in the industry choose to use substances, babera banoonya ki? Vibe. Ekyo mukimanyi? Vibe. Vibe yo bajja gifuna. But what is the cost in the long run? You get what I'm saying? So if that is what it is that they choose to do, I spoke about an artist sometime. They asked me about every time the artist was on TV, ngaruma akakola, those green things, trees. And I said, whatever it is that you ever do will come back. Literally everybody, buli omu yanvuma. Naye manyi lwaki nakyogera? Because that's where I went through that road. For me, I was fighting pain, ate n'otulonga ntunoonya. So I'm not gonna, the one thing that I always told myself, madam there, is I'm fighting my back problem. Katika neeyongere ki? Drug eyo. So that is how this thing works. You may not realize it. That's why I say it has a spiritual tag to it. Because the devil will always look for your weakest point. It is there in the Quran, in the Bible. The devil looks for your weakest point. And an idle mind is the devil's workshop. I hope I've answered you. The next question is, how did you balance music and education? The thing is, I knew. I had looked at a few musicians from before, and it gets to a certain point where, everything has an expiry date. Nengamba sigenda kafiiramu awo. Omanyi starter kola ki? Starter fa. Firimu eno sijja gifiiramu. Kati nina okubeera ne back, ne plan B. In Kiswahili they call it waraga. Yeah? Waraga is your security. Even when you go to pick money from a place, you have to go with security. So my security is my education. Until I wake up and I can't sing today, I can still design logos, I can still make adverts, I can still design clothes in the fashion industry. So we are good to go with that question. Then the effects, somebody asked about the effects of drugs. Like I said, I'm going to be very open with you. If you want something for chap, kijja kukolera. But the long run, things happen. Right now where I am, I cannot, if I have an emergency, I cannot have an IV. Why? Because all my veins collapsed. Because of okwekuba nnyo ki? Empiso. Okitegeera? So if something happens to me, the only way you can access veins in my body, actually you have to find a main vein. You have to go through my neck to connect to the main vein that is connected directly to my heart. Why should that happen? And yet there are some of you right now, if you just do this, if you just flex, mulabachi emisuwa nze muzinoonya ne mukoowa. And you pray to God, you will not find. Why? Because nagenda nenekubaga so I injected myself too much that my veins collapsed. So I think you can see. I showed the gentleman there my scars. Up till date, nze sambala bimpi. I wear long-sleeved things. Gwoloza mukasana kalunaku lwaleero njagala nnyo okwambala bino. Saagala. But I have to do that. The next one is, were you ever too consumed by drugs? Yes, I was too consumed. And I found out, I'm answering two questions in one here. How did you know you're addicted? It's my family and everyone around me who knew I was addicted. Time came nga sikyayagala genda ku studio. nga saagala kuwandiika nnyimba sirina kye njagala okukola kyobula abana bagambye kino ekintu much as kikwatagana ne health nakyo kiri spiritual kubanga ekibeera mu mutwe gwo is always something that is a pro. So when everybody realized something, nange nentuka point nga music sikyayagala genda mu studio, sikyayagala kola. That's when I realized, okay, maybe there's a problem. But the day I said I have a problem, I accept, is the day I started healing. And ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Paul Waluya, ali wano mulaba yetala. The reason as to why I'm standing here today, I need you people to go to Google in your holidays or ask a teacher or somebody. Google Jackie Chandiru. You will see a lot of what they wrote there was nonsense. Yeah, because bloggers bagala mawulire. They want something to say. The person who stood by me and talked to me, to ask me what exactly made me do what I did, is Mr. Paul Waluya. Chovola wane bwankubira sawa munane ezekiro nakugamba Jackie nkwetaaga sawa emu to talk to people about this. I will be there. It doesn't matter what my schedule is. It doesn't matter. Because I'm standing here today, I'm alive, my mother is happy, my family is happy because of Mr. Paul Waluya. My rehab experience, should I be honest about this? It wasn't good. Because nobody in rehab wanted to talk to me to find out exactly the root cause of my problem. Ngabo, I personally believe it was about the money. Because Nalinzi Sasla, 1.8 million 20 years ago was a lot. That's a lot of money. So the one thing that I would want to put out there, my experience in rehab wasn't good because nobody gave me the chance to understand me. Ngabamu ba antia, anti-star. I will not lie about that. In this star. Actually, in the legend. So maybe there were people who were worried about that, but the one person who tried to get to me, kumutima gwangu kutegeera, nti Jackie chichi, mukama yakuwa buli chimu. Ladies and gentlemen, I was married to one of the richest men in Europe. Yes. My marital name is Jackie Van Vliet. Dutch. But you know the thing with drugs and addiction, you lose everything. Olaba oli prefect wano, we call a mistake. Odemuchi, let something take you off. Tell them muntu nobo, agenda okujjukira. Nti what? Nti wali prefect. Actually, when they see, wajja kusekerera. Anti wali oli awo ng'otugamba kneel down, punishment, kati oliwa. That is Uganda for you. That is the world. Kubanga when nafuna ebizibu bye nafuna, tell him muntu nobo who was lenient with me. So my experience there wasn't good, but until I managed to open up and tell somebody where my problem was coming from, that's when I got saved.